They're supposed to be eating this 4 years ago, but because the city and all the stuff, now we have to wait. They have to wait for 4 years to get this food.
Jose Castillo is one of the co-owners of Cielito Lindo, a Mexican restaurant that opened in October 2020.
Cielito Lindo is a song, but in the meaning, maybe little pieces of heaven.
But the process of opening Cielito Lindo was anything but heavenly. Because of San Francisco's complicated permitting process, it took Castillo a long time.
4 years and 4 months.
And it cost a lot of money.
I'm talking about maybe more than $150,000 just for free.
Just for rent?
Just for the rent. You want a spot like this, just get ready with $500,000.
Castillo is no stranger to entrepreneurship. Together with his siblings, he co-owns a taqueria called Chino's that's been around since the early 90s. But in 2016, Castillo and two of his brothers decided to open another restaurant. They named it after a popular Mexican folk song.
Ay, 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 canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran cielito lindo los corazones. My wife, she sang it so well.
Castillo filed a change of use permit with the city in July of 2016. But converting the storefront from dry cleaners to restaurant required a lot of resources and money.
I didn't know anything about the open a spot from the bottom, because when I got Chino's, it was already set up. But starting a new place, I didn't imagine what was the process.
The permit was approved in January of 2017, 6 months after the initial filing. The city tells us this is a normal time frame for change of use permits. But Castillo says that after paying rent on the empty storefront for 6 months, he was essentially bankrupt. And he says the process was confounding.
I can talk about philosophy, I can talk about poetry, if you like. I can sing a song, but in that paperwork, it was hard for me and going from one window to another window to another window. That's the bureaucracy.
In San Francisco, small businesses are expected to navigate a permitting process that involves securing dozens of permits from up to 14 different city, state, and federal departments. For example, Castillo showed us the PG&E requirements for Chino's, and then what he had to install for the new Cielito Lindo.
Pretty normal, it's like a home, right? And this is the other room electricity here. I'm gonna show you the difference. Chino's and Cielito Lindo, look at this. I have a meter like for a hotel or something, right?
Setbacks and slowdowns continued to plague Castillo, so much so that finally, in 2019, he accepted help from a friend in the neighborhood.
Our family has been going to Chino's Taqueria for years. So we were thrilled when we saw the artwork go up and it said Cielito Lindo. We thought, oh my goodness. But this was back in 2016. And these weeks and months just turned into years. And I got very frustrated for him. And so what I was able to do for him was call. There was a lot of hold time, a lot of, well, I'm not sure, and, let me check, right? Just a lot of lack of clarity.
Those calls worked because they got the attention of people in City Hall. And soon, Castillo was getting the help he needed to navigate the red tape.
You need this and this and this and this. You're there, now you have to deal with this first before you go there. So I started, wow.
Proposition H, a planning code amendment measure, was approved on November 3rd of 2020, just a few weeks after Castillo finally opened up his restaurant. Prop H requires an expedited approval and inspection process for permits.
What's happened to our small businesses, which resulted in the necessity for Prop H, is a symptom of our local leaders becoming more out of touch with our neighborhoods. We are in dire need of decision makers at the table who are experiencing what neighbors are experiencing in our neighborhoods. Whether you're raising, your kids here, whether you're taking care of an elderly loved one or trying to keep your business afloat, that real life experience is something that's needed more in our advocates at City Hall. Now, Salito Lindo, it's delicious. Like, it's really just added so much to our street.
People are still loving the place right now already, and I can feel it. They come and clamp and say, finally you do it. And I told the people, this is not my place. This is your place. I'm just cooking for you.